DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Let's talk Aaron Rodgers, NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers. And football is not my sport. This is not about football. This is not X and O's. Now, before I get into this, let me tell you, I send out a daily motivation text every single morning, straight to your phone, free of charge. All you got to do to get it is text me at my number. My number is 305-384-6894. You want to get my daily motivation every day? Let me tell you the number again. 305-384-6894 is down below as well. Text me and you get my daily motivation message every day. And you can text me. That is my number, so I will respond to you. You can text me at that same number. So Aaron Rodgers, most of you probably know what happened. If you're watching this, you know. He plays quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Is an NFL MVP, Super Bowl champion. At the beginning of the season, during the press conference, one of the media asked him, Aaron, are you vaccinated against COVID? And Aaron said, yeah, I'm immunized. That was his exact phrase. He said, I am immunized. Now, it turns out most people took that to mean, yes, I have the vaccine. But he didn't actually have the vaccine. He says now, because he came out and said, I don't have the vaccine, and people got mad like, yo, you said yeah earlier, so what do you mean that you don't have the vaccine? He said that he looked at immunized to mean, quote unquote immunized to mean, because of some other medicines that he took and other precautionary measures he took, that passed for a vaccine. The league did not allow that, and now some media people are trying to take Aaron Rodgers to task and, quote unquote, hold him accountable, which is a bullshit phrase that everybody wants to use that when it's time to bash somebody that they don't like, but we'll get to that in a minute. That because he, quote unquote, lied and he was misleading, etc., etc. And of course, you know, all the ESPN woke people, they go on and they try to bash him and say he needs to be suspended, he needs to be attacked, he needs to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, talking about he needs to be thrown out of the NFL. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just want to throw everybody out of their job. Now, he said any NBA player who doesn't get the vaccine should be thrown out of the league. Any NFL player should be. Kareem just wants to throw everybody out of every job they ever had if they don't do what Kareem agrees with. But anyway, so this is what happened. And Aaron Rodgers probably get fined. Maybe he'll get suspended. He hasn't missed games because of having COVID anyway. So here's the thing. Here's how I see this. First of all, Aaron Rodgers. Did Aaron Rodgers mislead by saying, yeah, I'm immunized when he was asked if he had the vaccine? Did he? Answer is yes. Yes, you did. Aaron Rodgers, you watching this? You did. You kind of massaged the truth there because they said, do you have the vaccine? You said, yeah, I'm immunized. All right, you were being evasive in that, and you kind of massaged the truth. And could somebody, if somebody really wants to get you, could they say that you kind of lied in that situation? Yeah, they could, and I could see their point of view. I understand it. Now, at the same time, so that's my giving Aaron Rodgers credit for, did he kind of lie there, massage the truth? Yes, he did. Now, at the same time, let me defend Aaron Rodgers by saying, how many other people, officials, government people, doctors, scientists, people in positions of power, people in positions of decision making, how many of them have massaged truths, changed stories, changed perspectives, been evasive about certain things over the last year plus about this whole situation? A lot more than Aaron fucking Rodgers, and a lot more who have a lot bigger and more important positions than Aaron Rodgers playing football in the NFL. So if everybody's gonna go grab their tiki torches and want to burn a body at the stake over Aaron Rodgers massaging the truth, then we got to burn a whole lot more bodies right next to his if we're doing it that way. So let's everybody calm down on holding Aaron Rodgers accountable. Fuck your holding people accountable. So if you're holding him accountable, you got to hold the people that you agree with accountable as well. And nobody wants to do that. So let's hold that thought. Now, here's the issue that I want to bring up that's much bigger than even that. Aaron Rodgers does not want to get vaccinated. And he has his reasons. He went on the Pat McAfee show, and maybe you've seen the clips. You can look it up on Twitter and Instagram and ESPN, everywhere else. It's going all around. The things that he said about why he doesn't want to get vaccinated, his thoughts on these things, where he is not picking a side politically, but he just doesn't want to get the vaccine, which is his choice. And there are a lot of athletes who don't want to get the vaccine. I'm going to come back to them in a second. Now, Kyrie Irving, we know, he came out and said, I'm not getting the vaccine, and the only way he can probably play in the NBA this year is if New York relaxes its vaccine mandate, or Kyrie decides to change his mind and get the vaccine, which I think at this point, I mean, he's kind of put himself in a position where it wouldn't make much sense if he just decides randomly to go get it now. He might as well just either sit out the season or wait till New York changes his rules. If New York changes his rules, then Kyrie kind of quote unquote wins, even though he's losing money in this situation. But I think he would win if New York changes his mandate and then he can go play. And Brooklyn will become a much better basketball team. It's a different conversation. But Jonathan Isaac came out and said he doesn't want to get it. Draymond Green has the vaccine, apparently, because he's playing in San Francisco, but he did speak out and say you're forcing people to get it, which they are, essentially, forcing people in New York and San Francisco to get the vaccine in order to play. And who else said something? I think there was maybe a couple other people. Oh, there was Cole Beasley, who plays in the NFL, wide receiver. He said he doesn't want to get it. And no, he does not even that active on social media. Lamar Jackson, who's a quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, he does not have the vaccine. He's said it publicly. He hasn't really been bashed for it because he's black, and nobody in the media wants to bash a black person because they're all woke, and bashing a black person is a no-no right now. So if you're black, you could basically get away with murder and people will defend you. But if you're white, anything you do, they're going to try to take your head off. This is the woke world. We all know it. Is this news to anybody? Or it's not news to anybody, right? All right, good. So this is the situation that we got. My challenge in this whole situation, because these are the athletes that I've heard speak out and actually say in no uncertain terms, I am not a fan of the vaccine mandate. Not that they're telling you to get the vaccine or not get the vaccine. If that's however you feel about that is fine. That is not the conversation here. It's athletes saying, I don't like being forced to get the vaccine, and I will not be forced to get it. Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Cole Beasley, Jonathan Isaac, Kyrie Irving, Draymond Green. Those are the only people I've heard actually say it explicitly. My question is, first of all, for any of you who's watching, is there any other athlete, let's say NFL, NBA, let's just say those two sports, who have come out and said, I don't like being forced to get the vaccine. I don't like it being mandated upon me to get the vaccine. I haven't heard anybody else say anything anywhere close to that. Even LeBron James said, well, I decided to get it because I think that's the best decision for my family, but it's not my place to tell anybody else whether they should get it or not. Well, here's the thing. Here's my challenge with LeBron saying that. Because LeBron James has chosen his choice to be vocal on many other social issues. He got real vocal about the police situations. He came out and said, we're being hunted down every day when we go outside, which makes no sense. LeBron, you're 36, 37 years old. If you're being hunted down every day, you'd be dead already. All right, how you live 37 years times 365 days, nobody hunted you down yet? That's impossible. So that was, we know it was hyperbole, but at the same time, like, if you're going to speak out and say hyperbolic things like that about people dying, but now is not your place to say anything when it comes to a vaccine, okay. But he was also campaigning for Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump. He has also spoke up in support of the Democratic Party many, many times. So you're speaking up on things in which we know that you have no specialized expertise or knowledge. But when it comes to this topic, and he has a right to speak up, you don't have to be an expert on something to speak on it. If you have an opinion, you can share your opinion. You don't have to be an expert to have an opinion. But since he had an opinion on all these other things, now when it comes to this, which is a big topic and everyone's talking about it, now you don't have an opinion. Now you don't want to say anything. And I'm going to get to what I believe that reasoning is, not just for LeBron, but for all athletes in one moment. But I use LeBron as an example because he's the biggest name. But all other athletes, last summer of 2020, every athlete had a lot to say about social justice. Athletes are kneeling before the games. Athletes are walking out when the situation happened in Wisconsin with Jacob Blake. Athletes are wearing T-shirts that say their names. Athletes are putting Black Lives Matter on the back of their jerseys. Athletes are making all of these social statements, these statements about social justice and wokeness and equality and all these things they're making statements on, in which we know they have no specialized knowledge, in which we also know at the same time they don't have a ton of facts, simply because, listen, if we're talking about crime and black people getting murdered, black people murder each other way more than white people murder black people. Whether we're talking a cop, a civilian, anything, black people murder each other way more than anyone else murders a black person. So how y'all walking off the court because a white cop did something to a black person, but black people kill each other every day? Y'all ain't walking off the court for that, and nobody's even saying anything. Nobody even makes news about that. Every athlete, as big of a platform as you all have, as much as you want to use your voice and use your platform, y'all ain't using your platform for any of that. But as soon as a white person does something wrong, everybody wants to use their platform, and now everybody's Martin Luther King. Okay, fine, whatever. That's what they want to do. That's their choice. All right. Again, they have a right to an opinion. You have a right to be silent as well if you want to. Thing is, since athletes decided that they were more than an athlete, and that they wanted to speak on issues outside of sports, and that they would not shut up and dribble, and that they would not be limited to only talking about sports, and that they could talk about whatever they wanted because they have this platform, they have this space, and everybody's listening to them, and everybody's watching them, and they want to use their platform to help create positive change. They said all of these things out of their own mouths. and everyone supported it, and everybody clapped for it. They made commercials about it, T-shirts, whole campaigns about this shit. Now, as soon as this comes out, this pandemic situation, whatever you want to call this thing, pandemic, scamdemic, COVID, whatever you want to call this, right? This has been going on for damn near 2 years now. Everybody knows about it. Everyone's affected by it. People are losing their jobs over it. People are losing their lives allegedly over this, or through having the virus, or maybe through having the vaccine, or whatever the situation is. We've heard all different stories from all different angles. You can believe whatever you want to believe. My point is, even the government's talking about this. Joe Biden did his whole presidential campaign behind Donald Trump mismanaged the pandemic, and that's why so many people died, and which he should have done. It was good strategy by Joe Biden. I said that even before the election. All Joe Biden has to do is just say pandemic, dead people, and he will beat Donald Trump, and it worked. That's all he had to do, and he did it. Everybody's talking about this. Everybody knows about it. Everybody has been affected by it in one way or another. Pro athletes have to wear masks while they're sitting on the fucking bench during the game. They got to wear masks in the facilities. They have to, if you're not vaccinated, you got to be socially distanced at team dinners and on the planes and all this other stuff that they got to do. If you test positive, you got to sit out. Like right now, Philadelphia's Joel Embiid from my hometown Sixers. He got to sit out 10 days because he got a positive COVID test. Even though, look, he might not even be sick. He might not even be feeling bad. Even if he gives it to one of his teammates, they might not even get sick. If these guys are in the best shape of their lives, they got to sit out 10 days if they even get a positive test, or you were near a person who got a positive test. With the contact tracing and all this shit, it was a bunch of bullshit for these athletes who are in great shape, but they're making them do this. Do you think, let me ask you a question, you watching this video, do you think every pro athlete in the NFL and the NBA, that's over 2,000 players, between the NFL and the NBA, we're talking over 2,000 young men who are in great physical shape, do you think all of them agree with all of this stuff, the mandates, the protocols, the rules that they got to follow? Do you think that? I don't think so. Do you think that only 6 athletes have an issue with this? Because I only heard from 6. And let's say you heard from a few. So let's say maybe 10. You think that's all that has an issue with this? I don't think so. So why is everybody so quiet? Why isn't anybody saying anything? Why is that? I'm going to tell you my theory. My theory is, in the summer of 2020, when it was wokeness, social justice, Black Lives Matter, anti-police, anti-America, anything that could be considered quote-unquote conservative, or anything that agreed with anything that had to do with Donald Trump or MAGA or anything like that, it was easy for everybody to speak up. Why? Because the mainstream ideas, the mainstream media was co-signing everything the players were talking about in the summer of 2020. Anti-cop, anti-America, anti-conservative, anti-Donald Trump, everything was so woke. It was easy to be on that side because it would be applauded and amplified by the mainstream media. Now, what is the mainstream media applauding and amplifying? Anybody who is pro-vaccine, pro-mandates, pro-social distancing, you got to get vaccinated, anything that has to do with going along with the vaccines and all this protocol and all this shit. But the players, my theory is the reason why they're quiet, they do not agree with this. And that's why they're not saying anything. But my question is, y'all were all vocal when it was being applauded. Why you ain't vocal when it won't be applauded? Why are you not being vocal when, if you say something, if any NBA player was to come out right now and say, I hate these protocols, I hate these mandates, I hate the fact that my teammate got to sit out 10 days because they got a positive COVID test, I hate the fact that I got to wear a mask on the fucking bench during the game when I'm in better shape than everybody in the arena. Why do I have to do all these things? I'm in great shape. I'll take my chances with the virus. I don't give a damn if I get it. I'm good. And I don't even think that I'm going to pass it to my parents because I saw a video on fucking Rumble or TikTok that says it's not even going to do anything to them. And I think the vaccine is worse than the actual virus. What if a player came out and said that? Do you think there's at least one player who believes this? I think so. I think at least one. Out of 2,000 plus players, is there at least one player who might have that idea? Why hasn't anyone said it? I mean, they all had plenty of radical ideas to share last summer. Nobody stopped them from talking in. The cat didn't have nobody's tongue in. Why is everybody quiet now? It's because these ideas don't go with the mainstream opinion. These ideas aren't in line with the progressive, woke, democratic mainstream media ideas. It won't run on CNN or the New York Times. The NBA as a governing body doesn't agree with that perspective. Therefore, no player wants to come out and say anything. So here's my challenge to all the athletes out there, especially all of y'all who were super woke in the summer of 2020. Find your nuts. relocate your balls, because y'all all had plenty of things to say very courageously when everything you said was being applauded by everybody else. But as soon as you could possibly have an opinion that won't be applauded and might be challenged and you might be attacked for it, all of a sudden everybody's mute. All of a sudden y'all all want to shut up and dribble. All of a sudden nobody's more than an athlete anymore. I just want to let all the audience, I'm going to let y'all marinate on that. If someone has a challenge to this point, you let me know. But everybody had a lot to say last summer, and nobody had an issue saying anything. Nobody was holding their tongue at all. Now all of a sudden nobody knows anything. Now all of a sudden nobody has anything to say about viruses, vaccines, pandemic, mandates. Nobody has anything to say about any of this stuff. When everybody had plenty to say last year. You tell me. All this being said, if you have not yet gotten your free copy of my newest book, it's called The Third Day, The Decision That Separates the Pros from the Amateurs. I give you the book free. All you got to do is cover the shipping. Book's free. Just cover the shipping at thirddaybook.com. Spell it out. Thirddaybook.com. I'll send you the book free. Again, just cover the shipping. And if you want to get my daily motivation text message, I send it out every day straight to your phone free of charge. Just text me. My number is 305-384-6894. Work on your game. Dre all